Have you ever felt like no matter what you do, you can't change your situation? Imagine being in a maze, running into a dead end at every turn, until eventually you stop trying to find an exit. You just sit there, resigned to your fate. This, in essence, is learned helplessness. It's a psychological phenomenon where an individual, after experiencing repeated and inescapable adverse situations, learns to accept their fate and stops trying to change it. This learned behavior can drastically affect motivation, making it difficult to strive for better circumstances or to reach personal goals. It's like being stuck in a rut and not having the energy or belief to pull yourself out. The feeling that your actions won't make a difference can be paralyzing. If you've ever felt this way, you're not alone. It's a common phenomenon known as learned helplessness. The first step to overcoming any problem is recognizing it. And so, we move towards understanding the signs and symptoms of learned helplessness. Learned helplessness can manifest in many ways, but a common indicator is a pervasive feeling of powerlessness. You may find yourself stuck in a rut, feeling as though no matter what you do, you cannot change your circumstances. It's like being trapped in a maze with no exit in sight, or like swimming against a current that only grows stronger. Alongside this sense of powerlessness, you might also experience a deep-seated apathy. Activities you once enjoyed may now feel like chores. Goals that once seemed achievable may now seem impossible. This apathy is not laziness or lack of ambition. It's a symptom of feeling overwhelmed and powerless, of feeling like your efforts don't matter. Another sign of learned helplessness is chronic frustration. You may feel constantly thwarted, as if the universe is against you. This can lead to negative self-talk and a defeatist mindset. You might catch yourself saying things like, "I can't do this," or "nothing ever goes my way." It's as if a dark cloud is hanging over your head, constantly raining on your parade. You may also notice a decrease in your problem-solving abilities. When faced with a challenge, you might immediately assume that you can't overcome it. Instead of actively seeking solutions, you might find yourself passively accepting defeat. Lastly, learned helplessness can lead to physical symptoms, like fatigue or lack of energy. It's not just your mind that's affected, it's your body too. You might find yourself constantly tired, even after a good night's sleep, or lacking the energy to engage in activities you once enjoyed. Recognition is the first step towards change. If you can identify these signs, you're already on the right path. So take a moment to reflect. Do any of these signs resonate with you? Remember, there's no shame in admitting that you're struggling. The important thing is that you're taking steps to overcome it. And that, in itself, is a huge victory. Understanding the root cause of our feelings is crucial in overcoming them. Let's dive into the common causes of learned helplessness. It's a complex phenomenon that can be triggered by various factors. One of the most common is repeated failure. Imagine you're trying to learn a new skill, say playing the guitar. You practice for hours, days, weeks, but you just can't get that chord right. After a while, you may start to believe that no matter how much you try, you will never be able to play the guitar. This belief that your actions have no effect on the outcome is the essence of learned helplessness. Negative experiences can also lead to learned helplessness. If you've been through traumatic events, especially during your formative years, you may have learned to feel helpless. For instance, children who grow up in abusive households often feel they have no control over their lives. They carry this feeling of helplessness into their adulthood, impacting their ability to face challenges and overcome obstacles. Another common cause is a lack of positive reinforcement. Positive reinforcement encourages behavior through rewarding outcomes. If you rarely experience positive outcomes from your efforts, you may start to believe that success is beyond your reach. This belief can lead to a feeling of helplessness and a lack of motivation to try new things. Lastly, societal and cultural factors can contribute to learned helplessness. For instance, if you live in an environment where you're constantly told that you can't achieve your dreams because of your gender, race, or socioeconomic status, you may internalize this message and begin to feel helpless. So, there you have it. Repeated failure, negative experiences, a lack of positive reinforcement, and societal factors are some of the common causes of learned helplessness. It's important to remember that everyone's experience with learned helplessness is unique and can be influenced by a combination of these factors. Understanding these causes can help us identify the triggers and work towards overcoming them. Now that we understand the problem, we can start working on the solution. The journey to overcoming learned helplessness begins with reshaping your mindset. It's about learning to cultivate a positive outlook and understanding that setbacks are not permanent. they are merely detours in your personal journey. This shift in perspective is essential because it allows you to see failure as a stepping stone to success rather than a dead end. It helps you realize that you have the power to change your circumstances, and that's incredibly empowering. Another crucial strategy is setting achievable goals. You might be wondering, what's the point? Well, when we set goals that are within our reach, we're setting ourselves up for success. Each small victory boosts our confidence and motivates us to take on bigger challenges. Start with something simple. It could be as easy as waking up 10 minutes earlier each day or reading a chapter of a book every night. The point is to create an environment where success is the norm, not the exception. Now, let's talk about the importance of perseverance. When we're stuck in a cycle of learned helplessness, it's easy to give up at the first sign of difficulty. But remember, overcoming learned helplessness is not about avoiding challenges, but about learning to navigate through them. It's about developing resilience and grit and understanding that every setback is an opportunity for growth. Of course, it's important to recognize that sometimes we need a little help. Seeking professional assistance is not a sign of weakness, but a testament to your strength. Therapists and counselors are trained to help you navigate your feelings and can provide you with the tools you need to overcome learned helplessness. It's okay to ask for help. In fact, it's a crucial part of the process. Lastly, practice self-compassion. Be patient with yourself. Change takes time. It's okay to stumble, to falter, to take a step back. What's important is that you never stop moving forward. The strategies we've discussed today are not a quick fix. They require effort, patience, and persistence. But the reward is worth it. Imagine a life where you're not constantly held back by your own self-doubt. A life where you're in control, where you're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. That's what's at stake here. Remember, change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and every step you take brings you closer to overcoming learned helplessness. With every step forward, you're proving to yourself that you're capable, that you're strong, and that you're not defined by your past. So keep going, keep pushing, because you're closer than you think to breaking free from the chains of learned helplessness. And when you do, there's no telling what you can achieve. Once we start to overcome learned helplessness, we can work on regaining our motivation. It begins with finding our purpose. Ask yourself, what excites me? What drives me? It could be as grand as changing the world or as simple as making someone smile. The key is to find that spark that lights up your passion. Next, set personal goals. They don't have to be lofty or unattainable. In fact, they should be realistic and achievable. Remember, the purpose of setting goals isn't to pressure yourself, but rather to give you a clear direction. Lastly, celebrate small victories. Each step you take, no matter how tiny, is a step towards overcoming helplessness. Every time you achieve a mini goal, pat yourself on the back. This will keep your spirits high and motivation strong. Regaining motivation is a journey, not a destination. Each day is an opportunity to push yourself a little bit further. Overcoming learned helplessness and regaining motivation isn't easy, but it's possible. We've journeyed through the labyrinth of understanding what learned helplessness is, recognizing its presence in our lives, and delving into its causes. We've shed light on the shadows that often keep us feeling stuck and unmotivated. From there, we explored strategies to overcome this state of helplessness. Remember, the key steps involve challenging your negative thought patterns, setting achievable goals, and seeking support when needed. It's crucial to remember that this journey is personal, and the pace of progress will vary from person to person. In the process of overcoming learned helplessness, we also learned how to reignite the spark of motivation. By focusing on self-care, embracing a growth mindset, and celebrating small victories, we begin to reclaim our motivation. As we close, let's carry forward this empowering message. Remember, you are not helpless. You have the power to change your situation and reclaim your motivation.